Alright guys, it's been a while since I had a walker repair video, huh? Seems to be all that I'm doing nowadays. I stick a little picture up here. Tell me how this guy's day is going. One of the guys' machine that I work on sent me that picture from today. I guess he hydrolocked the motor, so we're going to have that down here shortly and see if we can get that fixed up. But in the meanwhile, we've got this mower, and he was having an issue with the blades. Well, originally the blades weren't really engaging firmly. They kind of had like a little bit of a slip to them, so under heavy load the blades would kind of like bog out and seem like the belt was slipping or whatever. So I adjusted it, looked it over, and everything at the time seemed okay. That seemed to work for a little while, and then he ran over a big metal chunk. You know, on the walker detachers, there's that little pin that you can flip up and down, or the little lever to keep it up in the up position. I guess that fell off his dethatcher, went under the machine, and ended up inside the blower. And I met him quickly one afternoon. He brought the mower down, and I found that piece jammed up in the blower. I was able to disconnect the impeller wheel and get it dislodged from there, and it kind of bent the impeller and whatnot. I kind of fixed it up the best I could to get him back on the road for the time being, but we knew there was some type of damage done to the blower. So we're still unsure of that now, and it was down now because the blades stopped working again, and he thought, as I thought, which we needed to do, is replace, I've already replaced this one now, but the two pulleys, the drive pulley and the PTO pulley, and a new belt, because the pulleys were so worn and the belt was worn that it was kind of slipping. Which is also the case, but we are going to replace those. But in the process of replacing those, I noticed this, and this is something I've never seen before on a walker. Never seen happen, but let me get you situated in here. Okay, so what we got here is the blower wheel I'm turning, and you can see the pulley right here. Hopefully that's focusing on us. Watch the pulley. I don't know if you can see that, but not only is it loose compared to the blower wheel, I'm turning the blower wheel back and forth here. It's kind of like got some play in it. Not only is it that, it even has a little bit of side to side. So there's a good amount of wear either on the pulley or the shaft for the blower, or the bearings broken inside the blower. I'm kind of unsure what's going on. And the only way to figure this out, to be able to get this pulley off and inspect the shaft and the pulley and figure out what the deal is by removing the GHS blower. So I spoke to him and I said, hey, this blower still had some life left, but it's been through that piece of metal, and I said, do you want to see if we can try to fix it and get you back on the road now, maybe straighten it out and do some type of repair to this pulley? Or if we were going to replace it, and you know, being that it's like $600, I think we're going to go the route of putting a little time into it and see if I can repair this blower. Once I get it out, I can straighten the blades out a little bit, because you can see the, if you look at this back plate here, if you see the space in between, as I turn it, you can see the space opens up, because it's, you can see right there, it's kind of hitting there and it's open there. So hopefully the bearing's still good, and hopefully I don't have to replace that, because I don't have that as parts-wise, but yeah, you could see that pulley loose down there. So that's what we're going to do today. I've already got plenty of videos on removing blowers and removing motors and everything in the walker, so I'm probably just going to cut the video now. And I'm going to go ahead and get this jacked up, get the wheels off it, and get the blower out. The blower comes out through the bottom. Get the deck off and everything. And then once we get the blower out, we'll put the camera back on, and let's see what we're looking at. All right, got the blower out. That was a lot of fun. That's what she looks like without a blower in it. And I haven't even looked to see what the issue is yet. This pulley, because it's loose, see how loose that is. loosen this up and see if we could take that right off, see if there's any damage to the shaft. And blower appears to be, the bearing appears to be tight, so I think we're going to be okay and be able to repair this one. But we got to see, like that play is, I'm afraid it's going to be the shaft. If that shaft's worn, we're in trouble. Let's go ahead and take this off. Let's see what we got. I think what happened is whoever replaced this blower last probably didn't tighten these up properly, and it loosened up, or just tightened one of them and didn't do the other one, and it really wore the key down. The shaft actually, I think, is all right, so all that wear and wobble must be from the pulley. All that wobble. So what we need is a new blower pulley, and I'm not sure if we've got one in stock or not. Might have to order one, or go to my local, my closest Walker guy and see if... All right, so you can take these blowers apart and you can replace the wheel. You can buy that separately. This one's actually still in pretty good shape, except for the fact that it's bent. Okay, so this flat plate, you can see right there. You can see how it's, this round piece is bent, so it's rubbing up against the back case. And then what happens is debris gets built up inside here, and it creates drag on the blower. So you want to make sure that that isn't an issue. You want that to be perfectly straight. You can straighten this out. What I do is just put it down on like a cement floor that's really flat, or you know, an anvil or something like that that's really nice and flat, and you can go ahead and just tap it with a hammer, straighten it out. You don't want to go too far with it and bend and threaten to break any of the welds, because then that could be, you know, the thing could explode on you. So do this at your own risk. Obviously, the safe way is to replace it. You technically shouldn't rebend ever one of these, because I'm sure that it's not warranted, or it's not designed for the metal to bend and then bend back. Again, you can kind of see right there where it's bent. Where this isn't bent much, it only got a little bit of bent because of that piece of metal that got stuck in here. I'm going to go ahead and straighten that out, and don't know if I'll do that on film or not, but I'll show you the end result at the very least. And then taking this apart, we found that the bearing is nice and tight. There's no play in it. Seems to be pretty good. So this guy is pretty lucky as far as that goes, that we should be able to just repair this and get away with it. This was also bent, some of the mounting tabs and stuff, and what was happening is, you can see right here, you can see that shiny metal right there. The edge of the blower was scraping up against this. So I flattened this out already down on the floor with a hammer, and we're going to go ahead and flatten this, make sure everything looks good. All right, I was able to get that pretty straight. Didn't take too much. Still a little bit off. Just a few taps, kind of no different than straightening out any other type of metal that you may have. That's pretty good. I think that will take care of the clearance issue here. So let's go ahead and reassemble this. What I want to do is scrape and get all this debris that's caught behind the wheel. There's actually a procedure in one of the old original Walker manuals back when I first bought my Walker. I'm pretty sure it's not in the new ones, but there's a procedure of taking a pressure washer and disconnecting this blower belt between the PTO box and the blower to blast this debris out. And you just spin the wheel. The wheel will spin with the pressure washer, like freewheel really fast. And I guess that combined with the water being sprayed in there is supposed to clean the stuff out really good. I've never done that. Never done it in that form, but anytime you have your blower out, you definitely want to try to get this built up debris out. It's amazing how organic grass matter can turn into such a hard material. All right. Go ahead and bolt this back in. We want to make sure that we don't have any clearance issues, because now's the time to fix it. It's almost impossible to do with the blower inside the machine. You can only stick a pry bar down there and just give it a little bend here and there where you can, but it's really hard to Okay, and that's how it should spin, nice and free. And now you can see the slight bend that's still in it. I might give it a couple more tweaks, but if you look right down, I think you can see right down in here, that wheel when we spin it. Almost like a bicycle wheel, you can see how it kind of like moves in and out a little bit. So I might give it a couple of love taps. But the important thing is when we put this back on, we want to make sure that we don't have any clearance issues on this either. Same type of thing. So what I do is I kind of put that one on and then you can swing it into place. There we go. Okay. Now you can hear when I push on that, it's just hitting it. And the reason that is that impeller right there, the wheel is bent out just a little bit to cause that to happen. So we're going to go ahead and give that one more tap back down, just to make sure that we don't have any clearance issues. And then we can put this blower back together. Luckily, the shaft does not appear to be worn, because that's going to be a lot stronger hardened steel, more than this actual pulley was. Kind of like you can see it like ovaled out inside that pulley. Could technically put it on and probably tighten these up and get away with it with a little bit of pulley wobble, but you don't want to have to take this back apart again. There's a lot of labor involved. So we're going to go ahead and replace this part. This keyway is a little bit worn on the shaft, but we're just going to really snug up on these really good on the new pulley. I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on them as well so they don't back off, and just make sure that that pulley sits on there nice, the new pulley, and that it spins true and doesn't have that wobble. It's got to be nice and tight to the shaft. Technically, if it was welded on, that would be best case scenario, but then you wouldn't be able to remove it. You'd have to replace the whole blower. You wouldn't be able to pull the shaft out if you ever want to replace the bearing. But we're not going to go ahead and do that. We're going to do it the way it's supposed to be, and there we go. So that'll be it for this video. Just pretty much finding out the issue on that. We've already got we've got new pulleys and new belts. The other pulley's already on the machine. I took the old one off. This was the old one, and you can see these grooves will start to widen up. There won't be like a perfect nice V, and the metal in between here will be really thin. And what happens is the belt sits on here and it rides on this top edge rather than the V sitting down inside the groove. And even though the belt's tight, it'll still slip on the pulley. So like every 3 or 4 belts or so that you have to replace on your PTO, you got to replace these pulleys as well. So that's what this originally came in for, but he ended up having a lot more problems than that. Just to give you an idea, this was the belt that goes between the PTO box and the blower, the small little belt that you remove. This is the belt that was on this pulley. And this pulley had belt all melted down inside. You can kind of still see it a little bit. There's pieces of the belt just melted. Because I think what happened when he originally got that piece of metal stuck in there, he ran the blades longer than he should have and spun the belt on this pulley, and that just kind of wiped out the belt. But it still worked for a while after that, and eventually just shredded the belt to pieces. So 2 pulleys, belt, and then this pulley. So 3 pulleys all together is all we should need for this machine to get it back on the road. All pretty simple stuff, fairly heavy duty. This is also a good time. This blower actually has a good amount of life left. You'll see these newer hardened style blowers, they already put this reinforcement plate right here. That right there is the area on the inside that they wear mostly. It'll start to wear like a groove down in this metal, and it will wear right through the case. And you'll end up seeing a hole right here, like a line that comes through, and it starts shooting grass out of your blower. Some people, once it gets to that, you can weld on this reinforcement and put it on. Then they just started adding them right from the beginning. So that just gives these blowers a little more life because it has to wear through the case and there. But it's all right there that it seems to wear through. This thing wraps right around. But I've literally put this exact same piece on some of my other blowers that didn't have it. I don't know if these are aftermarket blowers or what that come with them, or maybe Walker just started doing it, not sure. But anyways, that's it for this. A little bit of GHS blower how-to. And this is an item that does fail in your Walker mower, depending on the situations that you mow. If you're in really sandy soil, it seems to wear quicker. If you mow really, really nice lawns and you never do leaf cleanups with your mower and you just have nice grass going through it most of the time, this will last a very long time. But mine, personally, I go through... Hello?
Larry, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? All right, that was the mower that I showed you the picture in the beginning of this video that took a swim. But I just realized, that was the guy dropping it off. I'm going to show you that in a minute, but I just realized that I haven't showed you guys the new shop. This is one of the rooms. There's 2 rooms and a bathroom basically for the shop that I'm now running. As you can see, nothing's really done yet. I haven't got anything set up. I just brought a bunch of the stuff down that I kept from the old bigger shop. If you're familiar with the channel, you know how I had all that set up with the lift and everything. So I got this room and I got this room here, which I got the quad down here. And so it's a fairly small space, and then I got a bathroom in here. So this is the space I got. Unfortunately, all I have are man doors. I do not have any way to get big machines or vehicles in here. So that's not going to happen on this shop, but I also have I'm going back to my old original Falmouth location where I did the budget pole barn. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put it up here. I'm going to be going back down to that area, and I'm not sure what I'm going to set up down there, but between this location and that, they're both in the same town. So this location that we're at now is actually a lot closer than to all my accounts than the last shop that I just got out of, that if you're watching this video, I'm sure you've seen, with the 50 by 50 shop that I had, and I rented out one half to my buddy. Like I said, they wouldn't renew lease after a couple of years being there. They're redoing the whole place, and they're going to get market value, they say, which means the rent was going to at least double from what it was. You know, if it went up a little bit, I could have swung it for what it was, but there was no running water there. It was definitely limited in a lot of areas. I did love it. I would have stayed there if I could have, but I couldn't. And there isn't much available in this area at all. So this is what I ended up having to deal with. This is basically more storage than anything else with some workbenches to work out of, but we'll make it work. But I do have some parking with this as well, which is nice. So anyways, we've got this whole area here. This outside parking area is all mine. As you can see, I got stuff down here. This is the machine that we're working on now. I got my mower right here. Got my plow and just a big mess down here. This is the mower that I just showed you the picture of that was in the drink. And you can't smell it because it's not smell-o-vision, but it smells like swamp, boy. He just dropped it off a couple minutes ago. I haven't even looked at it yet. I guess he said he did wash it off and rinse it. But what happened is it, as you see in that picture, it went deep into the water enough to, it killed the motor. Whew, does it smell. And yeah, it looks like he washed it off pretty good, so really not much evidence. But this is the machine that was on the channel before. We did a bunch of work too. You can see some water down on the blower. So we don't know. I'm going to look at the picture again. I'm pretty sure this whole thing was completely submerged, so we're probably going to have to take this apart. I'm sure some water got in the motor. The motor may be junk. We may have connecting rods bent. We might have broken pistons. We might have cracked heads. Don't know yet. But this is going to be a video in the future, and we're going to see if we can't get it running again. And one way or another, it's going to be running again. It's just a question of what it's going to take to get it going. But stay tuned for that video coming in the future. Actually, let's see if he pulled the air cleaner off. Let's see what we got in here. See if we can get anything fun coming out. Yeah, nope. Oh, this is soaked though. Whew, smells like swamp. See down in there, you can definitely see some water in there. So, again, I don't know if it actually did get water in the motor. He said it ran for about 15 seconds and then died. And he sounds, I think, pretty confident that it did some damage. I think it probably made a rapping noise or something maybe. We don't know. Again, I just heard about this just now. Thankfully, the oil seems to be good, so we don't have a motor full of water. So we'll find out for sure. But I'm kind of hoping that we can get that running without too much trouble. That'd be nice, huh? All right, guys. That's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. See you in the next video.